Hey everybody, it's Gil here with the Sailing Vessel Dream Chaser, and today we're coming back at you, and I have a really interesting thought for an episode. I have with me my granddaughter. She goes by Marsh. That's the nickname we're going to be using here today. So I think most of you know, our grandkids moved in with us on the boat about four and a half years ago almost now.
I think so.
Crazy how long it's been. And I thought it would be interesting to basically interview her about what it was like living on the boat. I've taken some of the questions that we get from time to time from people, or things that I thought you might find interesting, especially if you are thinking about boating lifestyle and you have kids or grandkids and you're kind of wondering what it might be like for them. So I asked her to just be real open about this. I scribbled all these down and I have not heard all the answers yet, so I just shared with her what the questions were going to be. So this will be kind of fun. All right? So why don't we start with how old you are for people?
I'm 14.
All right. So 14 years old in the 8th grade, right? Okay. So I thought this would be interesting. I have about 10 or so questions, and I figure we'll go through the questions. I'll ask a question of you, and then if there's something we want to dive deeper into, we can, and feel free to be completely open, okay? On Dream Chaser, there's the 3 staterooms or berths. Marsh had the forward V berth. So it was essentially 2 bunks above one another and a small desk on one side. Small, compact, but that was the sort of layout. So the first question I have was, did you find that your berth was comfortable and large enough for you?
It was pretty comfy, but weren't there a few water leaks on it?
Yeah, with the nickname of those kind of boats are leaky tiki, and yeah, we would find water leaks for sure. So you had a couple, right? There's a companionway over the V-berth, so it would come through that sometimes too, right? Did it ever get like on your bed when you were sleeping?
Yes, so we had to put a bucket there.
That stinks. Was it on, so you slept on the bottom bunk, right?
Yes.
And that's right, and on the top bunk was just storage, right? I would say storage, it became the catch-all for all kinds of garbage, right? It could be where we kept clothes, books, old stuff, tools, whatever. So tell me about when you had leaks in there. What was the worst part of it? Like, would it happen when you were sleeping sometimes?
Well, I would probably get back from like a day of school and it had rained, so my bed would be wet.
That would be terrible. Okay.
Yeah, and like the termites too, the swarms, they came in and we just had to vacuum them up, right?
Yeah. So I think a lot of you know our boat is in southern Louisiana, and in southern Louisiana they have what they call, they're not the subterranean termites, they're what they call Formosan termites, which is ironic given that the boat's a Formosa. But these are dry termites that typically nest in trees, and we are way up in a bayou, so every spring there's 2 sort of mating swarms. And if you were outside, remember when you look at the traffic lights, like the lights in the parking lots? Remember how covered they would be? It was crazy. Anyway, when they swarm, they get everywhere, and it doesn't matter how small an opening is in the boat. The first time this happened with all of us there, we literally just got up and left and went to a motel. It was terrible. But in your room, do you remember how the companionway slid open and then there was that little grate part there?
Yeah, the vents.
Yeah, I think the vents are where they came running in like crazy.
Well, there was also a cover over it too.
Yeah, but the cover was loose because it was just snapped on, so it wasn't like an airtight cover or something. It was just that canvas cover, kind of like the companionway, so it just sort of like snapped from the
said we lived in a bayou swamp, but you could technically call it a marsh.
Yes, you could, Marsh. No relation to the nickname today, though. I teased her about that. You mean marsh like a bayou? Like a swamp? Turns out, what was it from?
Pokemon name.
Very cool. Okay, so what did you like most? And what did you dislike the most compared to a room in a house, like the bedroom you have here in the house, versus your berth on the boat?
Well, this house, my room is larger than the V-berth, so I can store more things, and like I don't have to sleep in a certain position not to fall off the bed. So
was that a concern for you? Really?
Because I was like taller, not
you were
as short.
Taller?
Yeah.
You think you shrunk?
No. Well, probably.
That's funny. So I'm curious about the falling off. You meant like because it was a narrow bed, if you rolled over at night, you might roll off?
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, yeah.
but there's just more room in my room, so
Yeah, I mean the difference between having a bed and a place at a desk and a little couch and all the places you can sit. Did you ever actually fall out of your bed?
I think once.
I remember Swab falling a couple times too.
Well, did she sleep on the top or bottom?
She slept on the bottom, but remember in the beginning that was her bunk up there, and I
And then
remember.
we switched because I was tired of her walking through my room and leaving the door open.
That's right. Yeah, I remember her falling off of it one time and landed on that little step in there. Yeah, I mean, you're the age where if you fell, you caught yourself. Like you didn't just land on your back on the floor, right?
I think I did once.
Oh,
Or
jeez
slipped.
Louise. That's terrible. Oh, I was going to ask about schooling and if there was enough room in there, but you reminded me that when you were on the boat, you were actually going to the middle school there. So,
Junior high.
sorry, junior high.
I'm not that young.
So, wait a minute. When I went to school, middle school was 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then you went to high school, which is 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So what was your junior high? Oh, that's right.
7th and 8th.
7th and 8th was junior high?
Yeah. that
So
was
middle
just,
school was what grades then? Well, you-
Fourth well, the elementary was, I think, pre-K, kindergarten, whatever, to 4th grade,
Okay.
and then 5th grade through 6th.
was
Or,
middle school.
yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, junior high. Didn't mean to take that away from you. You know what everyone always asks me about is bathrooms. Everybody wants to know, how do you go to the bathroom on a boat? Did you ever have any challenges with the shower or the bathroom on the boat compared to other places or no?
I mean, yeah, like, because with the boat bathroom, didn't we have to add salt to it because it was being ground up
Yep.
and then spit into the water?
Yep,
So we couldn't put, like, toilet paper in there, and we had to use a trash can.
that's right. That is a different part. Do you know that that's common outside of the U.S.? Like, not on boats, I mean on land. Like when Grandma and I went to, anywhere down in the Caribbean, if you go to a lot of other countries, well, a lot of other countries that maybe aren't quite as developed as like, England, France, or U.S. But if you go into Central America or a lot of the islands, even public bathrooms, there'll be a small trash can or there'll be a sign that says, put paper in trash. Yeah, and so just so everyone knows, her comment about the salt water is because, so we have an electrosand waste treatment system on the boat, and it uses the salt level in the water to essentially electrify and purify the water. That's part of the process. So if you are in brackish or fresh water, in order for that to work, you have to have a salt tank that actually adds salt to the water that it flushes with. And we wanted to set up our system so that it used fresh water rather than pumped water from the outside. So we will have to do that even when the boat's here in salt water. So what we had was like a butter tub with a scoop. Remember, we like put a scoop in there each time.
So, would we would just be getting stuff off the boat, like not staying on it, right?
What, when it's here?
Yeah. So, like, if Mom comes to visit, she'll probably stay on the boat.
Yeah, she could do that or stay in the house, either way. I mean, the idea behind the boat is now instead of being our home plus a recreational vehicle, it's now more of a recreational vehicle. So we would take trips on the weekend or whatever.
We'd probably have to clean out McKinley and my room then.
When we get the boat to bring it here, I think we're going to throw away 75% of the stuff that's on it. I mean, think about it. It's been there for almost a year at this point. If there's clothes that we left on there, they're not going to fit any of us anymore. And chances are, it's probably pretty humid and just nasty from sitting for a year, right? The air conditioning's been on to remove some of the moisture in the air, but it's still southern Louisiana in the summer.
It's getting like winter time there, and it got down to the 50s there.
I know, but unfortunately it's sat all summer too. Damage be done.
Wonder how many bugs you'd find on there.
I don't think too many, because your mom was living on it, so every once in a while she would bomb it for us. Hopefully not many.
Well, it's southern Louisiana. There's water bugs and cockroaches, termites.
Yeah, there'll probably be some. If you live aboard a boat, you have to know that you will have bugs on board. And I grew up thinking cockroaches are the heebie-jeebie bugs, and the only people that ever get cockroaches are people who are filthy and dirty. And what I realized living on a boat is they are all over. They're all over on the dock, they're on the edge of the water, and they will climb up your lines, and they will get on your boat, and they love the dark, wet bilges. We would have them. It was gross. Yeah, if you see one, it's like, okay, time to bomb the boat. We'll make a day outing and bomb it.
Didn't one climb up my leg and then just started screaming?
I don't remember that, but that would be significantly more memorable for you than me, for sure. So did it happen? You would know. I don't blame you. I'd scream too. Did you like helping out with any of the boat tasks, like dealing with lines or filling water tanks or washing the boat or raising or adjusting the sun covers when we would put them out?
I don't think I really helped with any of those besides cleaning the deck.
Cleaning the deck? Didn't you fill the water tanks from time to time too, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun, except when you couldn't get the water tank cover off. And then you try and open the water tank opener, which was pretty hard, and you'd get your fingers caught in it.
Oh, you mean that little device, that little wrench thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever pinch the end of your finger in that? Yeah, it doesn't feel good. So not really fun, but you did a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was your friend's reaction when you would tell them that you lived on a boat?
They called me poor.
Really?
Yes. It's like, and they drew what they thought I lived in, and that wasn't close to the boat at all. It was actually kind of annoying to a point.
So that what I'm curious, they draw it like a runabout, like what we have out back?
No, it'd be like one of those cartoonish boats that you'd see in cartoons. It was all through like 5th grade and 6th grade.
And you got teased for it?
Yeah.
Like being poor?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I'll tell you this story. I don't know if I've ever told you this before. When we first put the boat at the marina where it is there in Louisiana, Grandma and I had our satellite dish set up, right? So we called the company that was going to come install the satellite dish, and we had them install it on that pole, and it's connected to the boat, and we could watch TV down below. And I remember the guy coming and setting it up, and I was talking to him out in that little green area on the top, and I said something like, oh, thanks, this is really cool, can't wait to go to watch the TV in all the different rooms. And he's like, oh, so what was the circumstance that got you on a boat? Like, I'm sorry to hear you guys are having tough times. And I thought to myself, like, tough times? My wife and I worked like for 9 years and slowly downsized and sold all our stuff and then moved into an apartment and then we bought our first liveaboard, and like it was such a dream for us. And we were excited about it. Like, it's exactly what we wanted to do. With money in the bank and the whole bit. And this guy was thinking like, oh, we're down on your luck. So I have no idea that kids thought the same thing.
Boats probably cost more than houses. Because
And
like,
new maybe, yeah. Yeah.
with all the repairs and whatnot. Because a house wouldn't just be able to float in water.
I think you're right. Yeah, probably not quite as much, but think about, like, remember the home inspection they had done here at the house before we moved in? You do something similar with the boat, and they give you a list of all the things that are wrong. And as you know from Dream Chasers, like, we bought it knowing there was a long list of stuff. So you're right, we put a lot of money into that. As a matter of fact, we put more money into the boat than Grandma and I have put into any of the last of our 4 homes we've owned. I mean, not buying it outright, but like repairs and upgrades. Yeah, it's wild. So they thought you were poor. Did it hurt your feelings?
Not really. I mean, it was just where I was living, right there.
That's weird. Did they think, so they didn't think it was cool living on a boat? Like, I always think, like, if I tell somebody I'm excited about it, like, oh, this is so cool, we live on a boat. And that probably wasn't your expression then, huh?
No.
Did you try hiding it from people because of that?
Not really.
No?
I was kind of open about it, like, hey, we don't have like a solid house, we live on a floating house. Technically it's still solid.
Yeah. Solid, just solidly wherever we want it to be. Well, I don't know about solid, it rocks. I think I've mentioned on this channel to a bunch of people already that we're going to sail the boat back. Somebody's going to sail the boat back. Me, I don't know if you guys will go. But we're going to sail the boat back here. Are you excited to have the boat back here, or do you not really care, or what's your thought?
Memories, like, because that I've lived on that boat for a long time, so it's probably nice to have it back.
Yeah. You ever going to decide one day, like, hey, can I go sleep on the boat tonight? Just go to sleep down there? No?
No.
You wouldn't do that?
No.
See, I'm excited to have it. Like, I might actually tell Grandma I'm going to go sleep on the boat one night. When we get the boat back here, we've been talking about maybe doing like little weekend trips right here in Charlotte Harbor. We go to Cabbage Key. That's that. Remember we went there one day in the boat? We drove out there. I think it was when your mom was here, and we ordered food and to go. So that's Cabbage Key, that little island. We're thinking about going down like Cabbage Key or Boca Grande or Pine Island and just anchoring out and then taking the dinghy and going for little tooling rides and stuff and doing that over the weekend. I'm kind of curious. Is that something you're looking forward to doing, or not really, or take it or leave it? What's your thought?
I don't know yet. We're gonna have to see.
Well, I don't know that we'll leave you here while we go out for the weekend.
Oh. Didn't know it would be for the weekend.
Well, yeah, I mean, that'd be the whole fun of doing it, is to go and stay overnight somewhere at anchor, you know? But wouldn't it so be nice to get sleep again, just be rocked to sleep by the water? It's been a long time since I had that.
Well, there's also getting off the boat and still rocking.
Do you like that or not?
Because, like, it almost made me fall over.
Really?
Yeah.
Would that happen like just going to school, or is it only after you were off the boat for a couple days?
Off the boat for a couple of days.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you're kind of taking it or leave it, right? You're not like a sailor kid. You're not saying like, oh, I can't wait to get back out on the water or anything.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. Our friends are getting a catamaran, and it's about a 30-hour sail down to Key West or the Dry Tortugas, and we've been talking about all going on the catamaran and going down there.
That I'm excited about.
So why that versus doing stuff in our boat? Is it because of the location or because of the catamaran? New boat?
Yeah, and like there's probably places to explore and whatnot.
You mean on the boat or off the boat?
On and off. Well, we've been to Key West before, so
Yeah.
or is this going to be a new place?
Well, we've been to Key West, but if we did this, we would probably just stay out on the boat and then maybe dinghy in like to get dinner one night. But we would be living on the boat, as opposed to when we went, we stayed in the camper and we drove to all the places we wanted to. This would be staying on the boat and then maybe going ashore for dinner one night.
Do you think the haunted, like, where was the place that they kept Robert the doll? It was a museum of some sort.
Yeah, it
Do you
was a
think that
museum.
would be open?
Sure. Well, you know what? It depends on when we end up doing this thing with them, right? Like, I don't know if we're going to do this in
Because-
3 months or a year, but it depends on COVID.
Remember when I made him art and you gave it to him?
Yeah. Are you wondering if it's still on the wall?
Yeah, well, it's not a. They don't like put things on the wall. They take pictures of it and it's in a slideshow.
Oh, that's right.
Or no, those are the sorry letters.
Yeah, that's right. Those were letters from people that broke the rules and then apologized.
Disrespected him.
Yeah. When we went to Key West, Marsh picked out one thing she really wanted to do, and it was to see Robert the doll. Is that what he's called, Robert the doll?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a haunted doll. It's kind of a cool part of the whole folklore of Key West, and there's a lot of detail about it. If you go on the internet and just search Robert the doll, you'll find all the stories. But it was a fun time. We enjoyed that. And the other place that we're talking about going is the Dry Tortugas, which is, I can't remember, like 30 miles or something from Key West, but it's an island. It's an old fort from back like during the Civil War time, and the water is crystal clear. That's the cool thing about Key West. Like, we could literally walk down the sugar scoops. That's the steps on the back of the boat. Put on a snorkel and fins and mask, jump in the water and snorkel anywhere and see fish and everything else. I mean, it can be 15, 20 feet deep and you can see the bottom from the boat. It's really cool.
It seems kind of scary because you don't know how deep it is.
Well, except for the boat has the depth center to tell you exactly how deep.
Also, Grandma mentioned something about like there was like a trampoline on it, or is that just the? Do y'all actually use it as a trampoline?
No, it's so if you think about it, there's a net that a catamaran's two hulls, right?
Yeah.
So across the center of the two hulls, there's what they call a trampoline. It's really just like a canvas mesh material, and it's hooked with strings. It does spring up and down, but you don't jump on it like you would a trampoline,
You
like for
just
fun.
kind of sit on it.
You sit on it, you walk across it, yeah, stuff like that. But
How strong is it?
it's strong enough that like all of us could sit on it. Do you miss living on the boat? And what's your preference, to live in a house or live on a boat?
So I kind of prefer the house.
You do.
Yeah.
Because it feels more permanent, is that why? Like
Yeah.
it's home at this point, right?
Yeah.
So if we said let's move back on the boat for a few years, you're like, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
If you wanted to talk to any other, like if any families were watching this, where like, it's a couple with their kids that are thinking about sailing or sailing part-time or living on a boat, what would you share with other kids that might be living on a boat? Like what kind of advice would you give them, or what would you suggest to them?
It's fun, but just be prepared to, help around the boat with some stuff and don't accidentally fall in the water or almost fall in the water. That's almost happened to me about 3 times now.
Yeah, that's always a risk for sure, right? And you're just talking about at the dock, right? You're not talking
Yeah.
about while we were sailing.
Well, one, it was raining and I was wearing shoes that didn't have grip.
So what'd you do? Jump from the dock to the boat?
No, I slipped and I fell between the board and the dock, but Grandma caught my backpack.
Was this when you were like, you get off the boat to go to school or something?
Coming back.
Oh my gosh. And y'all are klutzy. I've never fallen in the boat. Now that I just said that, by
You've
the way,
lived on a boat longer than us, so you probably have more experience.
but I have more opportunity to fall in.
No, you have more experience.
But the fact that I just said I haven't fallen in, next time I go on the boat, I'm gonna fall in now.
Yeah.
I just jinxed it. All right. If you have any questions you guys would want to have the kiddos answer, right? If somebody asked one, would you be willing to answer it in the comments or something?
Sure.
All right. Well, very good. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was kind of fun to do. I've never interviewed a family member. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for doing it.
You're welcome.
Okay, everybody, safe sailing, following sea. I hope you guys have a good one, and we will see you again next Friday, and we'll probably be doing some powerboat maintenance. All right, bye, y'all.